इस बीच गौतम शाह भी हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं। गौतम, मॉर्निंग टू यू, आई एम कमिंग टू यू। लेकिन उससे पहले आशीष, आपसे मैं क्विकली आखिरी सवाल पूछना चाहूँगा। हुडको अभी जो अर्ली इंडिकेटिव टिक्स आए हैं उसमें बीएसई पर ये करीब 68-69 की रेंज में है। जो अर्ली इंडिकेटिव टिक्स हैं इसमें वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट इसमें थोड़ा बहुत और एडजस्टमेंट होगा। सो आई थिंक 68-70 के आसपास कहीं लिस्टिंग एक्सपेक्ट की जा सकती है हुडको की। क्या करना चाहिए?
बिल्कुल बने रहना चाहिए मीर। ज़रूर स्ट्रेच्ड वैल्यूएशन वाला आईपीओ है, लेकिन कौन सा नहीं होता। बट एवरी आईपीओ कम्स फॉर अ रीज़न एंड द रीज़न इज़ मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू होल्ड ऑन टू इट। सो आई थिंक अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग 1-2 साल का प्ले नहीं है मीर, वो 5 साल का प्ले है। जो भी चीज़ अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग को टच कर रही है डायरेक्टली या इनडायरेक्टली, आप वहाँ हाथ डालिए, पैसा बनेगा।
बिल्कुल। चलिए आशीष, शुक्रिया हमारे साथ इस बातचीत में शामिल होने के लिए। थैंक्स फॉर जॉइनिंग अस। हमारे साथ अब गौतम शाह जुड़े हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं। गौतम, मॉर्निंग टू यू। शुक्रिया इस बातचीत में शामिल होने के लिए। एंड आई मीन यू नो द क्वेश्चन, सो लेट्स नॉट, लेट मी कट इट शॉर्ट। क्या करना चाहिए मार्केट में?
Well, Mihir, I remember in our last interaction, we were very close to that 9,100 mark, and there was fear on the street as to whether the Nifty will go below 9,000. And I think our view was very clear that anywhere close to 9,000, the risk reward to go long in the market was very high. And we were working with a target of about 9,500, and that target got achieved a couple of days back. And once that level got achieved, we have just taken a step back, because I think at levels of 9,500 things look quite overstretched. In fact, if you look at the technical studies, while the markets have made a higher high, none of the technical studies have done the same. So we are actually seeing first signs of markets being overbought. And the global developments in the US, I think that was just a trigger for the Nifty to fall yesterday. And while today morning the screen might be all green, I don't think the market is going to find it very easy to get past this 9,500, 9,550 zone. So we would be slightly cautious here. I think the run-up has been huge in the last many weeks. In fact, from 7,900 to 9,500, we have not even seen a 5% correction. So it's been the best form of a bull market. And if the Nifty loses 200-300 points, it will only make the setup healthy. So our view is that the Nifty will find it very difficult to get past 9,550. I think there is some more correction to be expected, and that could be on account of global factors, because when I look at the charts of the US market, it looks extremely weak. We are looking at a 7 to 10% drop in the US market indices. If that happens, I think Indian markets will have to follow suit, like what happened yesterday. And a correction down to 92, 9,300 seems very likely in the current scheme of things. Worst case 9,000, because I think that's now the new base for the rest of 2017. Right. But if we lose another 200 points, I think that would make the risk reward very lucrative to go along.
लेकिन गौतम, एंड आई एग्री, आपकी बात सही है, बिकॉज थोड़ा ऑब्वियसली ओवरबॉट टेरिटरी में है मार्केट, एंड थोड़ा एक जिसे हम टिपिकली कहते हैं नर्वसनेस दिखती है, आप इंडेक्स को भी अगर देखें तो उसमें। बट एक यूनिक चीज़ गौतम जो इस समय मार्केट में हो रही है कि अब देखिए हर बार, अब जैसे कल के ड्रॉप के बाद आज के लिए भी थोड़ी नर्वसनेस थी, बुल्स वर लिटिल कंफ्यूज्ड कि क्या करें, एंड देन सडनली यू हैव जीएसटी का ट्रिगर। सो टुडे इनफैक्ट द एफएमसीजी इज सपोर्टिंग मार्केट रियली वेल। अब इस मार्केट में ये कॉन्स्टेंटली हो रहा है, एंड इन ऑल प्रोबेबिलिटी इफ एसबीआई डिलीवर्स बेटर देन एक्सपेक्टेड नंबर्स, तो फिर वो और एक पार्टिसिपेंट होगा हु विल ट्राई एंड सपोर्ट द इंडेक्स। तो क्या ये पॉसिबल है that on the downside Nifty remains in a range of maybe 200-300 points like you mentioned, time wise correction हो जाए, लेकिन pure valuation wise अगर हम देखें तो बहुत ज़्यादा ड्रॉप नहीं हो इंडेक्स पर?
Actually, that's the working view right now. In a normal scenario, we should see another sideways correction, and we've seen such sideways corrections a couple of times in the last 2 months. I remember 2 weeks back, the Nifty was in a range for about 10 trading sessions, doing absolutely nothing, and that cooled off many of the technical studies. And the point which I'm trying to make is that there are no local factors that can take the market down. The locally, just about every trigger right now is positive. What I fear is a global trigger. And I think if something happens in the US and you have the Korea factor, the China factor, if these issues come into play, then India will be forced to correct, like what happened yesterday. Because as we started off, there was nothing locally, but because global markets fell, we fell in tandem. So that's really my only concern, and that's the reason at 9,500 you just need to take a step back. be a little cautious. There is no harm in doing that. And if there is a drop any point of time in the next 5 to 10 days, use it as an opportunity to buy. I think our medium term, long term bullish setup on the market does not change. Our long term target of 11,000 on the Nifty does not change. Just that from a trading perspective, you need to get the right risk reward to enter the market.
ठीक है, तो लॉन्ग टर्म में 11,000 के आपके टारगेट से निफ्टी पर। तो गौतम ये बताइए कि ये 11,000 की मौजूदा लेवल से 11,000 तक की जर्नी में लीडर्स कौन रहेंगे?
Well, I think we've said this many times in the past. It has to be the banking index. It's seen a great move in the last many months, and as the bank nifty got close to 23,000, you must have noticed some resistance. It was not able to get past that number, and I think 22,000 for the bank nifty has become a very strong base for the next many months. Our working target for the bank nifty is about 25,000, so we expect a good 12 to 13% upside from current levels, and this is going to be led by the PSU banks. I think the kind of setups that I've spotted in many of the PSU banks, these have formed after many years of hard work, and therefore I think it's going to yield positive results for months and months to come. And I think a lot of these popular PSU stocks can gain anywhere between 30 to 50%. So banks clearly would be our favorite to play this rally going forward, and this would be followed by oil and gas, metals and autos.
बिल्कुल। गौतम, सिद्धार्थ मैं आपके पास आता हूँ, लेकिन पहले एक टेक्निकल व्यू ले लेते हैं। गौतम, जो FMCG स्टॉक्स हैं, आई मीन व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दैट, बिकॉज नाउ देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी दैट दे मे सी सस्टेन्ड बाइंग फ्रॉम हियर बेस्ड ऑन द GST टैक्स ब्रैकेट्स।
Well, that's a valid point, but then if you look at the behavior of some of the popular FMCG stocks in the last few months, it's been a very steady move. They have not outperformed. Yes, you will have suddenly one day wherein an HUL does exceedingly well or an ITC does exceedingly well. But to play this bull market, I don't think you should go very overweight on FMCG. I think it's going to be a market performer. Yes, you need to have some of these stocks in your portfolios because, when you have a bad day because of global factors, FMCG and, healthcare and IT generally tends to bail you out. So you need to have a substantial, position in your portfolio. But I don't think I would really look at it from a bigger picture perspective for substantial upside because many of these stocks are already trading at 52-week highs. And for a ITC or for a lever to move 10%, it requires a lot of buying, whereas the State Bank of India, or a Reliance can do that just like that.
जी गौतम, आपने अभी IT और फार्मा का भी जिक्र किया और हमने देखा भी कि मार्केट रैली में टेक्नोलॉजी और फार्मास्यूटिकल इन दोनों ही स्पेस ने बिल्कुल भी पार्टिसिपेट नहीं किया। इनफैक्ट अगर इस पूरे ही साल की परफॉर्मेंस देखें तो नेगेटिव रिटर्न्स ही आए हैं। क्या यहाँ पर कोई ट्रेंड रिवर्सल आपको दिख रहा है? क्योंकि कुछ एक्सपर्ट्स कह रहे हैं कि बॉटम प्ले हो सकता है, या फिर आप अभी भी कंप्लीटली अवॉइड कर रहे हैं?
No, I don't see any signals of a trend reversal. In fact, if you look at the healthcare index, it has done nothing while the market has moved up from 7,900 to 9,500. So it's been a big underperformer, and anybody who had many of these healthcare stocks in their portfolios would have obviously underperformed. I think this is going to continue the same way. You will have small patches in between wherein some stocks will do well, but that's not an indication of a reversal. I think you can just trade it from time to time. IT is an interesting space because yesterday many of the IT stocks went up substantially. That is because of insurance. Every time the markets fall, the focus is on the IT stocks, and that's what happened yesterday. But I don't think this is going to be a sustained development, and because my overall view on the market is very positive, I think over the medium to longer term, I think IT and pharma will continue to underperform. So you could trade it for these small patches, but there is no reason to buy and hold.
Gautam, what's your take on tea and coffee stocks? Though not all of them are widely tracked, लेकिन आज भी देखिए मूव अच्छा है, and some of these stocks have actually consistently outperformed. Any view on tea and coffee stocks?
No, Mihir, since I cannot talk about specific stocks, I wouldn't be able to give a view there.
जी, लेकिन सिद्धार्थ, आपके कमेंट्स क्या हैं टी कॉफी स्टॉक्स पर, क्योंकि अच्छा अट्रैक्शन आज के सेशन में देखा जा रहा है ज़्यादातर शेयर्स में?
देखिए ये दोनों ही सेक्टर बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं, स्पेशली कॉफ़ी सेगमेंट में, और जिस हिसाब से टाटा कॉफ़ी के नतीजे आए हैं हम मानते हैं कि काफ़ी अच्छा परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं आने वाले समय में। हमारा कवरेज है कॉफ़ी सेगमेंट में, वो है CCL प्रोडक्ट्स। हालांकि हमारे टारगेट प्राइस अचीव हो गए हैं पर री रेटिंग एक्सपेक्टेड है, पर हम मानते हैं कि CCL प्रोडक्ट्स कॉफ़ी सेगमेंट में ऐसी कंपनी है जो बहुत बेहतरीन परफॉर्मेंस दे सकती है आने वाले समय में।
जी गौतम, ये ऑटो शेयर्स पर क्या व्यू है? आई रिमेंबर लास्ट 2 कॉन्वर्सेशन जो आपके साथ हुए थे, आपने कहा था कि ये स्टॉक्स एक्सपेंसिव होते रहेंगे, उसके बावजूद भी बायर्स का इंटरेस्ट बना रहेगा। मारुति सुजुकी, आयशर मोटर्स, MRF जैसे स्टॉक्स ऑलरेडी लाइफ टाइम हाइस पर ट्रेड कर भी रहे हैं। यहाँ पर कोई स्टांस चेंज किया है क्या, या फिर वही व्यू मेंटेन किया है आपने?
In autos, I think we've maintained a very clear stance that we don't have targets. We don't know how high these stocks are going to go, and in bull markets, you actually don't know how high the outperformers are going to go to. I mean, Maruti is a great example. When it was at levels of 4,000, there was this fear that okay, now it's looking expensive, whether chartically or based on fundamentals, and it just kept moving higher, and now it's trading at 6,000 plus levels, which is phenomenal. I think this trend will continue, and till you are talking about the India story, until you're talking about a bullish view on the Nifty, I think autos will continue to do well. The silver lining is that apart from Maruti, some of the other two-wheeler stocks have actually been an underperformer in the last 1.5 months. So there is a good opportunity to buy into some of the two-wheeler names in the next few months. So that's where our focus is, and metals and autos, because of their recent underperformance, I think are probably one of the better trading picks in the market right now.